On today's edition of The Front Row, we are at the Texas Tech University School of Music, where our special guest is Dr. Roger Landis, who is senior lecturer here at the School of Music. And he does many, many things, one of which is lead the English Bagpipe Consort. And they have a concert coming up, and we want to visit with Dr. Landis about that today. Welcome to the show. Thanks for being our guest.
Thank you so much, Clint.
I want to start with a couple of things. One, for folks who might not know, if you could give us just a little bit of historical background on the bagpipe, so people will know. And then I noticed in the title you say English bagpipe, which I assume must mean not Scottish bagpipe.
Exactly.
So if you could maybe talk about that a little bit, that'd be great.
Sure. Okay, so bagpipes in Europe go back at least to the early 1300s. Some sources would push that back about another 3 centuries, right? So it is possible that bagpipes, in a form that's relatively recognizable to modern listeners, would have been played in Europe maybe as much as 1,000 years ago. Such claims have been made and not definitively proven, but it's possible. Now, the pipes that almost everyone is familiar with are the Scottish Great Highland bagpipes. They're the ones that are very loud, that are generally played outdoors, generally played, if they're in competitions, they might be played solo, but we're used to seeing them in bands that are marching, part of parades, St. Patrick's Day, that kind of stuff, right? So that instrument has a long and really venerated history, but it might not be as ancient as you think. It goes back somewhere between 250, 300 years in terms of the sources that we have. If you go back that far, that instrument was not uniquely a Scottish instrument. It was all over Europe, and in fact, for you art lovers there, might remember a famous woodcut by Albrecht Dürer from the 1500s, I think, or late 1400s. I'm not an art historian. A woodcut of a piper leaning against a tree, a German piper playing an instrument that is kind of the ancestor of the Highland pipes, right? So that instrument that is very loud was a public outdoor instrument all over Central and Western Europe. And it died out by the time the Scottish pipes got really famous, when they were brought into the Scottish regiments in the British Army in the late 1700s. That instrument had mostly died out all over the rest of Europe. Okay, so I've been interested in bagpiping through Irish traditional music, which I've done for many, many years, decades. I played the Irish uilleann pipes. Those are the ones that you see pipers playing sitting down.
Right, yeah.
And they have the melody pipe on their leg. They can stop it, right? Then there's an English, the Northumbrian small pipes that's from the north of England. And I learned early on in my interest in various folk musics that there were French pipes, Belgian pipes, Flemish pipes from Belgium. Originally, there were German pipes, as Dürer documented. There is a long bagpipe tradition in the Celtic region of the north of Spain called Galicia. The gaita, it's called, goes back, they claim, 1,000 years. So there are these other traditions. And about, 35 years ago, I heard a record of English music made by a really fantastic dance band called Blowzabella. They took their name from a country dance tune. And there were 2 pipers in that band, one of whom has since become a friend, and he makes the pipes that we play. His name is Jonathan Swain. And what he did, starting in the late 70s, inspired by going onto the continent, particularly France and Belgium, and hearing pipers play, he was inspired to make or to recreate, or I would use the word revive, the English bagpipes that we know were played in England in the 1600s and 1700s. There's a lot of pictorial evidence of that instrument, but almost no surviving examples of the instrument itself. So he did this kind of musical archaeology in a way. I mean, he wasn't digging except through museums. He toured museums in Europe and in Britain and found instruments that were related and took lots of careful measurements. His first instrument he extrapolated from a painting. If any of your listeners are familiar with the paintings of Peter Bruegel, there's a couple of famous ones, a peasant dance and a peasant wedding, and there are pipers depicted. And John Swain, when he was growing up, his family had a print of the peasant wedding. And he took measurements of the height of the figures, the men, and then the instruments, and extrapolated from what their height, what he supposed their height to be, dimensions for a pipe, which he was at the London College of, he was in the early instrument making program at the Royal College of Furniture in London, and which was really influential in the early music revival. He was there and he built a pipe and it worked, the first one he made. So he's made hundreds and hundreds of pipes since. He kind of redesigned the instrument for modern English music. It's related to the French and Flemish pipes. And now that instrument is, some people are calling it the Euro pipe, because that revival has happened all over Europe. And you can find people playing it everywhere, including Lubbock. So that's how we have English bagpipes, is through Jonathan Swain. The difference is it has a slightly larger range. It has a second octave, half of a second octave, in addition to the kind of the 9 notes that we're used to from the Scottish Highland pipes. Also, by using cross fingerings, you can get accidentals. So they're nearly chromatic with no keys. If you add 2 keys, you get a fully chromatic instrument.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, not that any of the music we play on it is really chromatic music. It's just that those notes are there if you want to play in a different mode or a different key. They're available. So that's a thing that's different from every other bagpipe.
Wow.
And so I founded the Consort in 2017 with some graduate students, and then we had some faculty members come in and join. There's a faculty member currently, 2, one who plays with us all the time, and a third who, besides myself, who plays with us occasionally. We have some alumni who play, and we have students. And this semester is kind of a landmark for the ensemble, because for the first time, we're offering the ensemble for credit to School of Music students. And actually, it's open to all tech students.
Oh, my gosh.
And so starting this semester, we have 8 undergraduates learning English pipes.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. And we practice in Hants Chapel, which is a perfect place for bagpipes.
Right.
And it's going really well. And I just want to say one other thing about the consort idea. Now, your listeners are probably familiar with that idea. There's 2 kinds of consorts. There's a consort, which means instruments, but in different ranges, like a consort of viols, viola da gamba. You can have a consort of horns or consort of shawms. And I'm sure there are other consorts, maybe a consort of lutes. Then there's the broken consort, which is different instruments, right? From the late Renaissance. Well, our aspiration from the very beginning was to get an instrumentarium in as many different ranges as we could that could play together, and we're actually doing that right now. We have instruments on their way to us from England that will be in different ranges, and basically our center is G, and that's where most of our pipes are, but we're getting a low C and a high C set to extend that range in 2 directions. We have donated to us a low G set, so that is an octave below the main G, and that extends it further. And then we're getting a high G set. So we're going to have 5 ranges, and that's going to really help us with our goal, which is bagpipe polyphony. Yeah, we're writing polyphonic parts. In fact, I was working on one when you showed up today. We love bagpipes played in harmony, and we find that when we have a chance to perform, our audiences are really responding to that. Yeah. So
great. Well, I had no idea of any of that, so that's really wonderful to kind of get a much bigger picture of piping. That's amazing. Wow. And it doesn't sound like you have any lack of instruments now.
No, we're able to obtain some new ones, and we've had a number that we're using, a couple that are on loan from faculty members, and we've been able to get by. But we're getting some new student instruments, and then we're getting the extended range instruments for the consort, and so we're really looking forward to what we can do next semester, and then going forward.
Wonderful. Well, speaking of semesters, here we are in the fall, and you have a concert coming up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Tell us all about it.
Okay, so it's Monday, November 3rd at 8 p.m. in Hants Chapel on the Texas Tech campus here. It's the building that is closest to the corner of 19th and University.
Right.
And there's plenty of parking there. It's free of charge, and it's so it's open to the public. And because they're bagpipes, we don't have to have a sound system.
Right. I mean, I can't think of anything more of an outdoor instrument. Clearly that's what purpose was over long distances.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and I should have said when I was talking about the differences between the English pipes and the Scottish, is the English pipes are made to be okay indoors. They're made to play with fiddles and accordions and hurdy-gurdies, right?
Oh, right.
They're not anywhere near as loud as the Highland.
Scottish said there would be no point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, well, I remember years and years ago when I was in my undergrad, before I really got into studying music, I took a music appreciation course, and one of the fun things that was in one of the lectures was a concerto for bagpipes and lute written by P.D.Q. Bach.
Oh, P.D.Q. Bach, right, of course.
As Peter Schickele,
who
who portrayed P.D.Q. Bach, was introducing the piece, he talked about the bagpipes, and he says, and that brings me to the lute. And, the lute looks nice. Because, of course, when the bagpipes are playing, you can't even hear the orchestra, let alone the lute, which was a great gag,
Of course.
Yeah. In fact, most of the instruments, there's 136 distinct varieties of bagpipe in Europe.
Oh, my God.
70 of those are in some state of either being retained or revived. And that's one of my research interests, right? Most of those are not as loud as the Highland pipes. They're made for more intimate spaces. Some of them are, nearly as loud, but a whole lot of them are really, fine indoors. They're really more chamber instruments. And the English pipes are kind of like loud chamber instruments, but not so loud that you'd want to go outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, great. Yeah. So this is Monday the 3rd in Hance Chapel, which will be a nice big space for that. Tell us a little bit about the repertoire.
So we tend to do a really wide-ranging repertoire in each of our recitals. This semester, I invited one of our senior members, who's a faculty member from chemistry, Dr. Patrick McLaurin, a very experienced Highland piper, who's been playing with the ensemble now, I think, 5 or 6 years. He learned the English pipes in order to join our group, but he's a very experienced piper, really great musician. So I invited all the members this semester, if they wanted to bring in music with which I was perhaps unfamiliar, that would be welcome. And he brought a lot of really great music. And it tends to come from, because these are called the English border pipes, that has to do not so much with a region, although there is a border pipe that's associated with the Scottish-English border. It's slightly different from what we play. He was able to collect some music from that border region. So it sounds a little Scottish, but it also sounds a little English. We've got some 3-time hornpipes. We've got some marches. We've got one really great tune from the repertoire of the Northumbrian small pipes from the north of England. It's just a really nice collection. I arranged a set of Irish polkas and a set of Irish jigs, and we've got one composition from Jonathan Swain, one of his tunes. That's a really interesting tune. That's like a 5-time waltz, which is a type of waltz that gets played in France. They actually have 5/8 waltzes.
Oh my God!
Yeah, because there's like a long beat and a short beat.
Right.
Like 1 2 3 1 2 1 2 1 2. Yeah. And so he wrote a really great tune in that meter. So we're going to do that. It's maybe not quite as wide ranging as some of our previous programs, but I think there's enough in there of interest for most folks. Yeah.
Sounds great. Excellent. Roger Landis is the director of the Texas Tech University English Bagpipe Consort, and they have a concert coming up Monday night. Is that right? In the Hance Chapel.
Yes.
Right, and people can just come.
Just come on in.
7:30 p.m.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock.
All right. Good to know.
Right.
All right, Roger. As always, thank you so much for being our guest on the show today.
Thank you.